Hey, what's up you guys, my name is Karan and I am back with a new video. If you've been around my channel before, this video is going to be very different from my other videos. It's going to be packed with information, and if you're new here, Bizu, nice to meet you. I am currently pursuing an undergraduate degree in business administration in the beautiful city of Nice on the sunny French Riviera. And as I'm moving to my third and final year of studies, living in France has taught me so much about this country, its people, and what life like here is. So I'm no educational counselor, I'm no professional. I'm just simply going to give you advice based on my experiences, which is 100% true and honest advice. The goal by the end of this video is really for you to sit down and think, like, is it really worth studying in France? So now just imagine the scenario, okay? You have made the decision to study in France. You are ready to voyage out into the world and have a coffee under the Eiffel Tower. But a year down the line, you realize you have not made the right decision, you've not chosen the right course, and now you're just so frustrated that you want to go back home. Trust me, it can be super tempting moving to a culturally diverse country like France, but what's so important is that you actually sit down and think through your decision completely. Hence, we're going to talk about the choice. Why study in France? Personally, I chose France because I saw so much potential from studying in this country. Not only is French the third most spoken business language, but there are so many multinational corporations based in France that are really hiring from the youth and are recognizing talent in French universities. So yeah, apart from providing so many opportunities to international students, I feel like the education system of France is really in place. It is really affordable compared to the UK and the US, no matter which French university you go to. The tuition fee of studying in France for 3 years at a very good university is often the same as studying in the UK for 1 year at a very mediocre university. So when you're picking a university and a course, it's really important to think about your interests and where you see yourself at the end of the program, and also what you're expecting to gain from the 3 or 4 years of studying in this program. Perhaps one of the biggest misconceptions of studying in France is that all the programs are in French, and if you do not speak any of the language, it's just like impossible to study there. But that's not true, because both public and private universities have so many courses in English. I personally opted for an English program because my French is nowhere close to being that great. So when I was moving there, I really wanted to make sure my program was fully in English. Hence, I never felt shy to really pick up the phone or write hundreds of emails asking questions about the program and about the university, asking about how my life is going to be for the next 3 years. Just pick up that phone, write those emails, ask as many questions to the university as you want. They are happy to answer all your questions. The admission requirements for France are relatively really simple compared to the UK or US. You know what's so cool is that they're really well aware of all the local programs and all the local boards in all countries. So for example, in India, they do know what HSC is, they know what SSC is, they know what ICSE is. I can go on and on, but you get the point. So you have to provide the university transcripts of your higher education, your 11th and 12th grade results, whether you have done A-levels, IBDP, HSC, regardless of what your educational background is. Good news is you can apply to a French university. You also need to prove that you can speak and write the English language. So they will ask you to appear for the IELTS, the TOEFL, or the Cambridge exam, and they have a minimum cutoff depending on which university you're applying to of how much you have to get in that English exam. So yeah, once you've paid the application fee, you have proved your proficiency in English and you've given all your educational transcripts. Your university will set up a Skype interview where they will try to get to know you more, why you're choosing their university and what are your motivations in life in general. And that's it. No SAT, no CAT, no kind of fancy exam. That's how simple it is to apply for an undergraduate degree in France. If they accept you into the university, you will receive an acceptance letter by mail from them within the next few days or weeks, which you will use in order to get your visa to move to France. Now, of course, if you're applying for a master's degree, the requirements are more specific, but that's a whole different story together, and I've not really reached my master's level, so I'm not going to get into that. And now we're going to get into the part I get asked so many questions about, which is the cost of living in France. A lot of people think that studying in France comes with a hefty price. Trust me when I tell people I study in France, they think I see the Eiffel Tower every day. I have this expensive coffee, I have a croissant every morning for breakfast. That is so not true because I don't even live in Paris. You know, when you think of France, you only think of Paris. But let me remind you that this country is geographically really huge. And there are so many other more cities where you can study in France. You've got Lyon, Bordeaux, Grenoble, Nice, which are such student-dominated cities and have amazing universities. So now I'm roughly going to break down the monthly expenses of studying in France, okay? We are going to break this down into 4 parts. Your accommodation, your food, your miscellaneous expenses, which is basically all sorts of entertainment, and your fixed costs. The biggest chunk of your expenses will be your accommodation. If you choose Paris for university, get ready to pay higher rent. Rent there is to the higher side. But the good part is, no matter where you are choosing your student accommodation in France, there is a very broad choice. It also depends on what kind of house you're going for, how many roommates you want, whether you want to live alone. Yeah, to be really fair, I would say that the accommodation would range anywhere between 300 to 750 euros. But of course, if you want this gigantic living room and a walk-in wardrobe, get ready to shell out thousands of euros on monthly rent. I live in a 4-bedroom apartment with 3 other flatmates, an apartment that is really close to my university, and I pay 625 euros a month, which I feel is really reasonable because I'm saving so much money on transport, and the cost covers everything such as electricity bills, water bills, and even a cleaning lady that comes once a week. So yeah, unless you're rich and want this luxurious apartment, I don't see why you would spend more than 700 euros just for your accommodation. If you want to walk into my apartment, I'll put the link below, or you can just click the tab above. Another great part about studying in France is the government aid. If you are struggling to pay your rent, you can apply for something called the CAF, which is basically the French government helping you pay a certain amount of your monthly rent just to ease your financial situation. The amount of money that the CAF grants you obviously depends on what apartment you're living in, whether you have a job, and your other finances. Now that we've covered the accommodation cost, we're going to talk about the cost of food and groceries. Your monthly expenses of grocery shopping simply boil down to the fact of where you shop and what you buy. So yeah, based off of my expenses and my friends' expenses, I would say it's really fair to dedicate around 200 to 250 euros a month to your grocery shopping. 3. Your miscellaneous expenses. The biggest advantage here is that if you're under 26, you are considered as the youth in France. This means you get discounted movie tickets, you get discounted prices on shopping, online transport, you get free museum and art gallery entries just because you're under 26, and all you have to do is show your student ID. From eating a 5 euro wrap just around the corner to eating at a fancy Michelin star restaurant, there is a wide variety of restaurants you can choose from when you're studying in France. And yeah, if you're going to fast food chains like Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Burger King, trust me, 10 euros is enough to have a super filling meal. And finally, number 4 is your fixed costs, which remain the same or fluctuate very little with every month. This includes costs like transportation and your mobile bill. And again, if you're below 26, your transportation cost would be discounted to as low as 50% compared to a full price that someone above 26 will pay. So yeah, all in all, taking all these costs into light, I would say that your fixed base amount would range between 800 to 1000 euros. And then obviously, if you're partying every other day and you're shopping at Zara thrice a month, your costs are going to be different. Come on. If you haven't heard this word before, there is something called the Erasmus, which is basically a European exchange program where students from all parts of Europe go to other European countries for a semester or a year abroad. And France is one of the most popular countries for Erasmus. This means that you're constantly going to have European exchange students coming from countries like the Netherlands, Finland, Sweden, basically everywhere else in Europe. Even apart from the Erasmus students, I would say your social circle in university will comprise of people from all nationalities. Some of my closest friends are from Jordan, Senegal, Abu Dhabi, Honduras. So international, I know. So it's super cool getting to know people from these many countries. And I also feel like it really stimulates an environment of learning where you learn so much about other people's cultures, and you can also start looking at your course content, like your studies, from a very international perspective because of how many nationalities are there in your class. Because of the language barriers, what often happens is that the French students are separated from the international students in class. Learning French will enrich your experience so much. It can be as simple as understanding their jokes, their slang, which will later on help you so much in the country. And obviously, if you've come all the way to France, why would you not learn French? And my favorite part of student life in France is that you can travel so much. Just because France is so centrally located and moving around is so cheap. Believe it or not, where I live in Nice, the Italian border is only half an hour away. Just imagine going to Italy for one afternoon, having a pasta and coming back. Wow. And even apart from going to other countries, I could spend a lifetime seeing all of France. There are transportation systems like Flixbus, WeBus, and just so many more that make travel so affordable in this country. And now I'm finally going to answer questions you guys have asked me about studying in France. So actually, one of my friends, Felicia, asked, are you planning on doing masters in France? I would say I'm not very sure, because I'm doing such an open-ended program in business, I'm not sure what exact field I want to continue working in. Even if I'm doing a master's, I want to gain a good amount of work experience so I can go through my master's really smoothly with a lot of hands-on practice. So I think I'm going to wait a couple of years and see how work goes. Also, honestly, I'm fed up of studying. I want to start working. So someone with the Instagram handle, I think it's Trouble Wanderer, asked me Paris versus Lyon, what are the benefits? And it's really not fair for me to say because I've not been to Lyon. But one thing I can tell you is the university has study in, there is one campus in Paris and there's one in Nice. And I personally chose to study Nice because it is a smaller town, much smaller town than Paris. And I'm not trying to dissuade you guys from studying in Paris, but I felt like Paris was not me because I come from a big city like Mumbai. I didn't want to move to another big city like Paris. Okay, so Soumya asks, is learning the language essential? I think I've covered that in the student life part, Soumya. But I would say if you're investing the time and money of studying in a place like France, you are better off learning the language. So for example, when you're applying for citizenship, when you're applying for a French passport, they really want to make sure you can speak the language fluently and you are really making an effort to be a part of their culture. Also, as they say, like learning a new language makes you see the world from a totally different perspective, which I 1000% vouch for. Once my French has gotten better and better, I've started seeing a lot of things in a very different manner. So yeah, I would say it's kind of essential learning the language because it's only going to benefit you. So Ritika, who has actually been on my channel since like 3 years, which is crazy to me. Okay, so she asks, what are some of your least favorite things about being a student in France? That is actually a very good question because I actually sat and I thought a lot about it, and I came to the conclusion that because of my cultural background and because of my upbringing and the environment I've grown up in, India, I'm used to being in a very competitive classroom where you are expected to outperform yourself and your peers. Knowingly or unknowingly, it motivates us to do well in our studies. And nothing wrong with it, okay? But what I found in France, that 70-75% is considered very good, and an average grade like 50 to 60%, the students would be very happy with it in France. But because I'm used to that level of competition in India, I find it hard to motivate myself to do well in class in France. You get what I mean? So yeah, that was it. I have spoken so much. As I said in the beginning, by the end of the video, we'll ask ourselves a question whether it is worth studying in France. And based on my experiences and whatever advice I've given you, 100% yes, France is an amazing place to study. If you're considering it, you are on the right track. Continue moving in that direction, make the right choice. And just remember, I'm not being paid by my university or the French government to promote their country to study in. This is just my honest opinion, which I'm sharing with you guys. So I really hope my tips are able to help you guys. If I forgot to mention something, if you want to know something more, just feel free to hit the comment section below and I will help you out. And if you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to my channel. I have so much fun content coming up for you. So I'll see you guys soon with a new video. Till then, love you. Bye.